we have here? Oh yeah, I need to go get my string winder. So this is the new SG that I just got. Pretty cool. Looking forward to cleaning this thing up. This guitar is very dirty, and I'm gonna make it look like it's brand new. These strings are rough. You can see, I think you can see the layer of dust on here. Let's see, watch, I'll do this. Yeah, it's pretty bad. First step, take off the strings, and then after we do that, we're gonna hit it with this Virtuoso cleaner. This stuff is great. I just picked this thing up a few days ago. I haven't even taken it out of the case yet. This is, I think, Epiphone SG Traditional Pro. Yeah, SG, I think Traditional Pro is the name, the model. And it's like, it's really in excellent condition. Has push-pull pots, and yeah, it's filthy, but man, it's gonna be, this thing is gonna be awesome. Let's just get these strings off of here first. So much fun, you know, taking the strings off, diving into a new, very used guitar. It's always a really fun transformation to see something that's just been sitting in somebody's like closet or sitting on the wall, sitting on a hanger, collecting dust, and then bringing it back to life. You can see all the dust on this thing. I ran my hand over it, but you can see how dusty this is. It's terrible. Yeah, but there's like no scratches. They probably hardly played it This still has the plastic on it, so that's exciting. I mean, the thing is like spotless. Alright, so let's take these strings off and get to cleaning and polishing this thing. I'll use this filthy rag here to clean this. Got some interesting comments going on over here today. I wonder if you can see like really how dirty this thing is, because I'd like to be able to show you the before and after. These pickups are like, it's really hard to see. The best place to see is over here, how dusty it is, but just imagine the whole thing is dusty, and these pickups are like pretty grimy too. But just a little bit of this cleaner will get this thing very shiny. And then of course the fingerboard needs to be oiled. Oh yeah, these pickups are starting to get shiny now. Anybody out there have one of these? I always liked an SG. It has like really good balance when you're holding it. I really enjoy that. I think the last SG that I had was it was like an 80s Gibson Ferrari red. For some reason those weren't going for a whole lot at the time, but it was a great guitar. G400 Pro, how was that one? I'm looking to get, hopefully find lots of gear and fix it up, clean it up, do YouTube with it. So I'd love to know the G400 Pro. There's just so many models. It's hard to keep up with all of them. But it's nice when I get suggestions. This thing is very gold. But I'm so pumped. I've been playing this Jackson JS22, and that's been a good guitar. But but this is definitely more, I think, the style of guitar that I like to play, just the feel of it. So I'm excited for this. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited about these coil splits. I was thinking I still have my broken broken Epiphone Les Paul Special sitting over there, and that has P90s. And I wish I could put those P90s here, but I don't think those will have enough wires to use with the coil split. Let's take this thing off. See this bridge? The screws for intonating it are pointing this way. That's important to know when you're doing this. I think a lot of people think you should do it the other way, or think that this way is right because it's easier to get to these screws. But I don't think that's the right way to do it. At least that's usually not the way that I see them from the factory. I'm not really sure if there would actually be a big difference if you put it the other way. It looks like all the notches are pretty much the same width here, so probably would work either way. Thanks, Ghost of a Maiden. Yeah, I was a big fan of that studio. I really enjoyed it. So this is, since then, I had a Harley Benton. It was like a slash copy. And then the Jackson JS22. It was like a $250 guitar. And now I'm back to something hopefully really nice with this guitar. The Harley Benton was pretty good too. I like that one. And I can't really complain too much about the Jackson, but this, already you just hold it and it feels so much nicer in the hand. The neck has like a really nice like width to it with a pretty slim profile here. So far though, the Epiphone Studio is the best out of the like last 5 guitars I've played or owned, I guess. But I'm thinking like right now I have the Jackson and this one, and whichever one's better I'll keep, and the other one I'll sell. And I'm gonna keep like fighting the guitars against each other and only keep the best one. I think that's the way to do it, because I don't really want to have more than one guitar at a time. At least not more than one electric, one acoustic, and one classical. That's my goal. Alright, so now this thing is much cleaner, and I gotta take this plastic off. I guess I could do that now. See what's inside here. Let's do that. Let's grab the screwdriver. Seven electrics. Wow. I'm sure that's a sweet guitar. I live in like a 200 square foot apartment, so there's just no room for 7 guitars, unfortunately. And if I had 7 guitars, I really don't know if I could even play all 7 guitars. Do you get to play all 7 of yours, or are some of them kind of lonely? Oh shoot. Oh, there it is. I got too excited and I threw this screw. I was thinking I should put this in focus a little bit better. Where are we? Probably need to bring it up here. Maybe I should use autofocus instead. I love getting a used guitar that still has the plastic wrap on the plastic parts. Then you take it off and it feels like you have a brand new guitar. I should probably leave it on though, so when I sell this thing that the next person has a brand new guitar. Because I probably won't have this one for too long. I have a feeling. Even though this is great, I'm thinking something better is going to come along pretty soon. That's awesome. Do you have like a nice studio setup in your place? If I had 7 guitars, like my wall would just be all guitars. Got some nice shielding here. Let's see, what's it look like here? Have these nice connectors. That makes it really simple to change things out. Yeah, it's a pretty neat looking cavity. Nice work. Alright, so now we do this peel. And then we get a brand new plastic piece. Oh yeah. You gotta love that. I do. Sometimes that plastic does get like melted onto there, and that's no fun when that happens. But if it's like that and it just comes off easily, then it's great, and you've got this perfectly shiny, scratch-free piece of plastic. So we'll put this back on. I don't know, maybe I'll put the P90s in here, or get some P90s. A 7-way rack, that's nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I actually just bought an amp today too. I took a trip over to Brooklyn, and got an old Marshall from the original Valve Estate line. It's a VS65R, and I'm pretty excited about that. I'll show that sometime soon. Probably be putting out a short for that one soon. But this baby, oh yeah. Now, it's time for the Dr. Ducks. This is what I use to oil the fingerboard. Good stuff, but it is pretty messy, so you definitely don't want to spill this. Ah, that's a good point. Yeah, so we're not going to do that. No P90s for this one. But the next guitar I buy, hopefully, will be a P90 guitar. But who knows? At some point soon, I'm sure I'll come across another P90. You can see like this thing was pretty much bone dry. Maybe you can see, hopefully you can. I don't think the guy that I bought this from really played the guitar much. He seemed like he really liked the guitar, but if you look at this thing, it's like, it looks like it hasn't been played. There's not a scratch on it. The only way I could tell that like it had been played is the strings looked like they had a little bit of wear on them, but they could have also been changing colors in certain places, due more to just maybe oxidation. The Fat Cat, okay, that sounds cool. I mean, somebody's has to have fitted a P90 into the humbucker shape. I'm sure a lot of people want to make that swap. I come from the world of classical guitar, so I've worked on a lot of electric guitars, but I'm really diving deep. Like in the past 6 months, I've started getting back to my electric and like rock roots and trying to learn more of this, you know, like how to play more rock music. It's very different than classical guitar. But the gear, I you know, I love the gear. So now we have a nice oiled fingerboard. All right. I guess it's time to put strings on now. So anybody here on the stream is going to get a sneak peek into the next short I'm going to make, because I'm going to try to get some of that footage right now. If any of you are following my channel, I'm sure you've seen the stringing, restringing videos that I've made. I'm not really sure why this is such a heated debate, but for whatever reason, many people have strong, very strong opinions on the correct way to string a guitar, and that's good. I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with that, but I think that it doesn't make a giant difference which way you string it. My preferred method is pre-cutting and then giving maybe like three or more wraps around all of the strings, more on the treble strings, on the you know, E, G, and B strings. But there is one thing, because I've cleaned up, you know, like quite a few used guitars, a lot, and sometimes a lot of these guitars I bought from like the pawn shop, and there's like almost nothing worse than getting guitars with strings like this, or even worse, like black strings, basically, because they've been used so much or they're so old, and somebody used the luthier's knot. And when you try to get those strings off the post, it's like, it's almost dangerous, like that you might give yourself tetanus or something by poking yourself with those strings. So that is my issue with the luthier's knot. Nothing else, just the fact that it can be very difficult to get the thinner gauge strings off, and it's really only mainly when you're buying somebody else's poorly maintained guitar. However, that's not like a good enough reason to say you shouldn't use it, because if it's better in other areas, especially like performance areas, then you should probably still use it. So I recently tested out to see whether the luthier's knot was really better or worse than my method, which is just stringing and pre-cutting. You know, you can give it, a lot of people like to say like go through to the next post or maybe slightly past the next post. I gauge it a little bit different, just kind of by experience how much to go on each post. And then I pre-cut. The reason I pre-cut is because whenever you don't pre-cut and you're winding, the string is flying back and forth, and it can get caught on something or hit you in the eye. That's it. That's really the only reason I do that. If it can give you like maybe a little bit cleaner finish in the post, but if you have some kind of wire cutters like this, then you can really get very close in there to cut it. So that's really not an issue. However, whenever I did the test between the luthier's knot and my method to see which one was more stable, my method was actually more stable 10 out of 10 times when compared to the luthier's knot. Sorry, this maybe is not very exciting stuff. That's why that video didn't do very well, because people don't really care that much. But anyway, I don't think it's really that big of a difference. I mean, we're probably talking about the difference in tuning after about 10 times. After it's not even that much of a difference anymore. So I think the tuning stability will even out pretty quickly, although I didn't test that, so I'm not sure. But my next short, I'm going to use the luthier's knot. Why not? Because I just want to show everybody I don't think it's really gonna make that much of a difference. So I will use the knot that I hate. Well, don't really hate, I don't think, but prefer not to use, because I don't see the point in using it. Let's see. Alright, so I gotta find this. Here we go. Maybe I should have cleaned this part a little bit better. just get this started here. So I'm using 10s on this. Let's go back here. I'm gonna actually use this footage for the short, so you're gonna see it live before anybody else. So we're gonna luthier's knot this thing. I just have to remember again, how do you do this? There was one comment about somebody that somebody said something about like playing live, and I'm curious, like if you're playing live and you break a string, then maybe the luthier's knot could work really well in a pinch. Like just go in there, do it, and then tune it up real quick. I could see that being like a really good way to, or a good use case for the luthier's knot. Thank you, amazing Spider-Man Peter Parker, for the subscribe. I appreciate that. String up there, raising your stop bar will change the feel completely of the string when you play. Awesome. Thank you for that fun fact. Another thing I like to do is keep a very straight neck. So I like to adjust the truss rod to be dead flat. That's my preference. And yeah, I think if you do it that way, you get like really nice tension on the strings. It's has a pretty nice loose feel to it. But I like that, you know, try to change the height of the stop bar and see how that changes the feel. That sounds like a good test to do as well. All right, so I have to look this up because I don't really use the luthier's knot, so I want to make sure that I'm doing it right. So I'm gonna look up how to do this again, just to be absolutely certain. It's very simple, from what I remember. I've done it a few times. Let's see here. Maybe I can share this with you. Okay. That's too much. I'll just show you what it looks like here. Alright, so we go through. I guess we leave some slack, right? Ah, yeah, so we go through. This seems like too much slack. Give it about that much slack. We come under. Come under. Then over, right? Over. Yep. That's it. This is just, I think this is nonsense. It seems like no big deal, like just doing it this way, but that little under-over thing can really cause a headache when you're taking it off, especially for the E, B, and G strings. But as far as like just playing guitar, I think it's gonna be totally fine to do it this way. Silent J80, I will definitely be adjusting the truss rod. That's almost always the case. Alright, maybe I'm just gonna let these things fly. I think it'll look better on the short that I make. if the strings are flying around, being dangerous. Looser, okay, awesome. So the higher you adjust it, the looser it's gonna feel. Is that right? That seems like that has to be the case. But that's exciting. That's something I definitely will try on this guitar. So these are 10s on this D'Addario 10s, and they can feel pretty tight if they're not adjusted perfectly. But if you get them adjusted right, get your truss rod set right, your action low enough, then the strings can feel pretty loose, or comfortable at least. Alright, so we're going to put on the second luthier's knot here. Give it some space. We go under, and then we go over. Luthier's knot number 2. Man, it's like, it's a little hard to do, but not hard to do it, but it's hard for me to do this when I don't really think this is the right way to do it. But I also don't think it's going to give me that many problems as far as, yeah, it's not going to do anything different. I think it's pretty hard to put a string on incorrectly. But look at this. This is dangerous. My eye can easily be poked out by this string right here. But for entertainment, I'm going to keep it up. What are you turning it to when it's set up? I'm not sure what you mean by that. What does that mean? Am I gonna like turn it into something different? I might turn it into a tuning it. I'm tuning it to yeah, I guess I should have figured that out. I'm just tuning it to standard tuning. What would you tune it to? I typically play in standard tuning, E standard, yeah, that's me, typically. Drop D sometimes. I'm a fan of drop D, but not, probably not for the same reasons that most people are. Drop C sharp, nice. Oh yeah, a lot of people like to play in E flat, right? E flat standard, I guess that's what you would call it. Sometimes I tune to that so I can learn pieces that people recorded in that. I do like A minor. A minor is a great guitar key. Oh shit, I walked into that. This is why you can't this is why you can't engage with comment section. You can't be honest here. Half step down sometimes from drop C as well. Alright, this, just so you know, I used this in my string test when I compared when I did an experiment with the luthier's knot and my regular way of tuning. So I'm repurposing this set of strings here. So when I tied them back together, they were in a knot. So don't do that if you don't have to. Alright, on to the D. Let's hope that this one, yeah, this is the one I used the luthier's knot with initially. Speaking of truss rods, somebody said truss rods, tighten the truss rod. Did anybody see that new PRS guitar that doesn't have a truss rod in it? That's pretty cool stuff. Apparently it's can have more sustain in the harmonics. Wow. Like how does that work? I'm very curious how the truss rod can actually dampen the harmonics. Somehow that metal bar is absorbing like some of the frequencies, overtones or something. That's pretty crazy stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's only time will tell. I mean, we don't know how long they've been experimenting with this model, but it's interesting stuff. They're saying that the wood is so like dense and so strong that it's not supposed to move whenever you put different strings on there. So I don't know, but it'll be a very expensive mistake if it doesn't work out. I'm assuming. I would guess that this is not a cheap guitar. All right, we're halfway there. We've got 3 strings on. This thing is just starting a new life. The guy was really nice who I bought it from, but I guarantee he never really played this thing. Definitely didn't play it well. But those are the type of people you want to buy used guitars from, because they're usually in great shape. Goldie. I like Goldie. This is Goldilocks. It's just right. Is that Goldilocks? Yeah, I think so. I forgot. Haven't heard that one in a while. Alright, here we go. This is really where I think you should not use a luthier's knot when you're doing these, because the knot gets so tight. I mean, I don't know if any of you have ever taken out a knot in like yarn or something like that, but it's pretty hard to take out like those knots. But when you make them metal, it's definitely not fun to remove a metal knot with your fingers. Hopefully you have pliers. You definitely need to take out the pliers though for some of these luthier knots. Ah, that's a good point on wound strings. Yeah, I could get behind only on wound strings. Alright, so the luthier's knot. I guess we just do it the same way here too. Go under. But even though we're only supposed to do them on the wound, which is good advice, I'm putting them on every string, because that only seems right. If I have this much complaint about the luthier's knot, I need to like walk in the shoes of a luthier's knot user. Okay. There it goes. It's okay. I just knocked it a little bit. Alright, this is harder than I expected. I'm putting the wrong string on. This is the, no? I must be. Hold on a second, sorry, I got confused talking to all of you. I am putting the wrong string on. It happens, right? Sorry about that, everybody. That is the B string, and that was not right. All right, here we go. I've been using Diodarios for so long, but the other day I was in Guitar Center and the Ernie balls were looking at me. So I think maybe the next strings I buy are going to be Ernie balls. I'm willing to give them a shot. I'm thinking 9s, maybe 8.5, maybe even 8. I want to see what it's like to play those. So let me just make sure I'm doing this right. When we get to the other side, we still do the luthier's knot the same way. I'm assuming yes. Or am I supposed to do the knot backwards? That doesn't make sense, right? I don't know why this is confusing. I have to think about it. It can be very tough to process information while I'm looking at the chat and thinking about doing all this. So let's see. So just bear with me for a second. It must be the opposite way, right? Let's see. It's turning clockwise, and this is turning counterclockwise. So we must need to do it in the opposite way, opposite direction. And that's probably why that string slipped out, which is kind of lucky because it was the wrong string. Back to the center. Got it. Thank you for that. Over the top. So this picture is showing me you come underneath the string like this, and then you go over the top of the string like that. That seems to be working and holding this time. Okay. I didn't give this one enough slack. I'm gonna have to redo this. I can't live with only 2 winds on these treble strings. But that was definitely the right way. If this string is too messed up, I can get another one out of the pack, but I think it'll be fine. Just kind of straighten it out a little bit. Alright, let's try this again. So we go underneath, over the top towards the center. There we go. Get this started a little bit. I think that if you give it, the more winds you give it, it actually adds a little bit of tension on the tuners. And I don't know, like, I mean, there's a gear ratio inside these tuners, but I think it does help a little bit with the stability of the tuning, but I'm not sure it can really make it more precise, but it does help at least with the feel when you're tuning up the guitar, if you have a few more loops going around. So that would be the reason why I don't like to just put 1 or 2 loops. But I don't, you know, they like, if you have like locking tuners, you don't have a lot of wraps around those, so I don't think it really is going to make a big difference in the overall stability. I may have to redo this. This is just kind of nasty looking. But for now, we're gonna move on. Oh no, it looks okay. It's just this side looks kind of nasty. But from this angle, it looks good. It's just the luthier's knot itself. Have any of you invested in aftermarket tuners? This is kind of crazy, but like classical guitars, the tuners like on my classical guitar, I think are like, they're definitely like over $1,000 just for the tuners. But I don't know, are electric guitars that crazy where they have $1,000 tuners? I'm really not sure that's necessary, but it does feel really nice to tune. But that's what, like, the maker of the guitar that I have, that's what they like to use, so you don't really have much of a choice. Alright, I gotta find the next one. Grover. Yeah, I'm probably could be under $150, probably $120 maybe. Who knows? But that's good to know. Grovers. I put some other tuners on my acoustic guitar, and those really helped. But the stock tuners were pretty terrible. But one of them broke, so I figured I'll just replace all of them. Definitely makes a big difference. Oh, very nice. Good to know. Alright, let's give this plenty of space. We'll do this one right this time. So we need to go around this way, underneath, and over, back to the center. Sometimes saying this stuff out loud is helpful. Speaking about that, like, if you're practicing guitar, when I was teaching a lot of guitar lessons, when I told my students to like count out loud while they play, it's amazing how much that really fixes. So that's a little tip. If you're having trouble, say it out loud, count out loud. It's a lot harder to make a mistake that way. Alex Lifeson. You know, that's a good idea. I need to learn some Rush. Oh yeah, I bet Scotland is great. How's the weather over there right now? Still cool? It's pretty cool over here in New York. Today you had to wear a sweater and a jacket when you were out. The weather's kind of all over the place here. Yeah. That's a good saying. My classical guitar is actually from Ireland, and so I went there a couple times. It's great. Is Scotland weather similar to Ireland weather? Look at this stuff. This is a hazard right here. Yeah, I feel like I've heard that saying before about wait 5 minutes. Yeah, I've got to get out of New York. I was just realizing I haven't like left the city in like for longer than 2 weeks. I've left the city for like less than a month's time in the past 5 years. That's kind of insane. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy how everything is here. You don't really have to leave. But I want to. I'm ready to get out of here for a little while. Alright, final luthier's knot. I like to give this last one plenty of slack. It's maybe more of like an aesthetic thing than anything, but I do enjoy the look of many winds around these posts. Alright, this luthier's knot is more difficult. Let's see. I'm gonna have to hold it like this while I wrap it around. There we go. I don't usually do these luthier's knot, people. If you've seen any of my videos, you probably know that already, but I'm doing it today for all the people that just, I don't know. For everybody who believes in the luthier's knot, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give it a chance. But like I said, I think it'll be totally fine. I don't think there's any big issue or like a very large reason not to use it. I just don't think it's the best. I tested it. Clearly was not the best in my testing for what I tested for, but I want to know how it's better, and I'm sure there must be some kind of trade-off where the luthier's knot is better for something. All right, I'm gonna stop talking about that. Let's get this thing on there, and maybe I can plug it in and see how it sounds. Yeah, why not? Maybe I should use my drill for this. But there is something nice about using the hand winder. We're almost there. All right. Here it is. It's all strung up. Sounds great, huh? I don't know if y'all can hear that. Alright, I'll plug it in so we can all hear it better. And we'll start tuning it up. Alright, let's get this turned on. This might be like distorted guitar, I'm not sure. That's the wrong input. Input 2. There we go. We've got bass sounds. For the person talking about tuning it to C, maybe we're somewhere close to that right now. Let me get the tuner here. Tuner. This isn't even. Now we're almost to B. Nice. Thanks, Dylan. I see that now. I never like to tune these things up too quickly. It already feels like so light. just gonna tune, probably, so sorry. Let's see. Alright, so far I'm very excited about this. We gotta get it stable and in tune. Let's go up another half step here. Okay, alright, Basket Case, the Green Day song, right? For some reason let's see, Basket Case, lyrics, which one is that? Do You Have the Time, okay. Sorry, I'm hearing it in my head. What key is that one in? The Guess Who. I have heard of the Guess Who. I don't know how to play that one. I guess I could look it up. What are the chords to that song? Basket Case. Okay. Why did it cut out? Sorry, yeah, that was getting good. I was hearing it in my head. That's a good one. This one's saying, okay, let's see. Sorry, I was transposing because the chords they're showing me is in D. Oh, it is, okay, all right. It is C sharp, all right. So then I like the E key though. That sounds, or E flat key. Oh no, that's not right. It's sorry, I've never played that before, but I do know the song in my memory. I am definitely going to enjoy playing this guitar. Thanks, Dylan. I appreciate it. I was singing it in my head too. I didn't think I should sing it out loud because I don't want to get like copywritten stricken. I'm scared that they're gonna take away my YouTube channel if I play the wrong song. This is really amazing though. This guitar, the action is so low. It's so easy to play it, and nothing is buzzing at all. I'm not even to pitch yet. Usually it buzzes when it's not up to pitch. But yeah, this thing feels awesome. Alright, let me get out the pick for a second. There was I'm trying to remember this one. If y'all know the Stevie Ray Vaughan, Mary Had a Little Lamb. Let's see if I can remember how that one goes. Mary Had a Little Lamb. Yeah, maybe some of you know that song. Yeah, maybe I should just hang out in this E flat key. Thank you, Mike G. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think it sounds pretty good here too. Yeah, there's a lot of Weezer. They played in E flat, and I transcribed this Weezer solo the other day. Drop C sharp. Where is this? Here it is. I bet many of you know this song, this solo. Get out of my way. Okay, here. Sorry, I'm screwing that up. Yes, that one. It's been a couple weeks, I think. How did I do? Where did I play this? This also reminds me of the Tenacious D Wonder Boy song. I I'm not sure if that's exactly the same thing there, but. Sorry, I'll quit playing around there, but. Yeah, this thing is very smooth. Alright, well, I think that's probably going to be it. My dog is ready to go out, so I'm going to work on some covers. I actually am trying to start another channel where I'm just playing songs. So I put out a few shorts there. It's like Mason Plays is the name of the channel. But hopefully I'll be doing more covers and different stuff, because it's fun to do that. Maybe I'll put it on this channel too. But thanks everybody for sticking around and watching the setup. There will be more coming soon. I've got a new amp, and I'll be showing you that. I'm going to be doing some work on some of these pedals I got too. That's going to be exciting. So, well, I don't know. Maybe it'll be exciting, but it's fun hanging out. So I'll see all of you very soon. Have a good night or good day wherever you are. Catch you next time.